Okay, welcome everyone. Kyle. uh, yes. Welcome everyone to our September 16th, 2025, 2 o'clock Board of County Commissioners Consent Agenda Commissioners meeting. Let the record reflect that all 5 commissioners are present. We did receive no written testimony for items on today's agenda, so we'll go ahead and stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this will take us to our open public forum, and I do have one person signed up for open public forum. So Becky Dickerhoff.
Spokane Trends reports during the 2023-2024 school year in Spokane County, the number of unhoused youths as defined by McKinney-Vento totaled 2,378, increasing from 1,790 since the 2007-2008 school year. During 2024 in Spokane County, there was a total of 17 unaccompanied unhoused youth below the age of 18. In 2023, 130 families with children were unhoused. During 2025, the point-in-time PIT total of unhoused persons was 1,806. During 2023, the share of unhoused people who were white was 0.39% of all whites. Those who were black was 1.4% of all blacks. Those who were Native American was 2.8% of all Native Americans. During the 2024, the average number of days spent unhoused in Spokane County was 335. When listing contributing causes for being unhoused, 0.8% reported being an unaccompanied youth as the cause. 7.6% were victims of domestic violence and unhoused. 0.8% were unhoused due to HIV/AIDS. 6.1% unhoused because of their status as veterans. 33.7% for chronic substance abuse, 43.7% cited severe mental illness, and 1.5% reported no contributing conditions. During 2024, the share of people in an emergency shelter who exited to permanent housing in Spokane County was 10%. Those in transitional housing who exited to permanent housing was 50%. People in rapid rehousing who exited to a permanent housing was 88%. There are a lot of lessons to be learned from the data Spokane Trends has compiled. The most important is that without housing of some form, homelessness will continue. I'm here today to ask the county commissioners to enact what is commonly referred to as the 1590 tax. This ordinance, which amended RCW 82.14.530, allows the county legislative authority to impose a sales and use tax not to exceed 0.1% of the selling price in the case of a sales tax or value of the article used in case of a use tax. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to testify at open public forum? Seeing no one online and no one in the audience, third and final call for anyone wishing to testify at open public forum. Seeing no one, I will close the open public forum, and I'm going to look to my fellow commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have a comment that I'd like to enter into the record. Every week, citizens come down and ask the BOCC, Board of County Commissioners, to adopt 1590, which is a new sales tax for the purposes of funding low-income housing. The research presented clearly structured to support that position, which is understandable, but the presentation is done during the public comment section of the agenda. This board has not responded to that request. This board has not shared our discussion on this item, so my comments today will be my comments and not those of my fellow commissioners. It is well known that home ownership is the pathway to financial freedom, independence, and generational wealth. Home equity can serve to send kids to college, pay for medical services, and be the nest egg for retirement. Increased home ownership can also be the foundation for healthy neighborhoods. So how did we get here? Over 25 years ago, the state legislature adopted the Growth Management Act, following the lead of California and Oregon, two other states where affordable housing is elusive. Many opposing the adoption, and I was part of that group, informed the legislature about a fundamental economic principle, the law of supply and demand. If you limit the amount of land available for development, the price of the land you can develop on will increase. Over the last 25 years, this principle has dominated the economics around land development and particularly housing. California, Oregon, and Washington have failed to provide an environment for affordable housing. What the state has done with the Growth Management Act and all the other pieces of legislation that have been added to it that negatively impact housing has created the modern-day version of redlining from the 50s and 60s. Over the years, Washington State Legislature has added more and more issues to be addressed by cities and counties in the development of their comprehensive land use plans that have made expanding the urban growth boundary challenging and the availability of land for housing impossible to build and be affordable. It has reached a point that the Democratic Lieutenant Governor of the state of Washington has criticized his own party leadership for going too far with the Growth Management Act. This policy has not only put affordable housing out of reach for most communities, but it's also created a racially discriminatory outcome for communities of color in the state. The evidence to support this position is found in the 2010, 2020 census data. Each census, the percentage of homeownership for blacks and Hispanics has dropped in the state of Washington. Two minority communities have done well during this period, Native Americans and Asians. Asian homeownership has maintained, but only because of the massive exodus out of Hong Kong before Hong Kong became communist China. During that period, the U.S. had what they called an EB-5 program, where for $1 million you could buy a visa if you invested that money into businesses here in the United States. Literally billions of dollars were brought over to the United States and Canada. This dynamic led to folks from Hong Kong not buying single-family homes. They bought entire blocks of residential property. They did that in Seattle, Tacoma, Portland, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, and other cities on the West Coast. Native American community was able to develop off-reservation gaming like the Kalispels and Spokane tribes, which has brought new revenue and economic opportunities to the tribes. The opportunity for affordable housing became more elusive in 2011 when, again, the state legislature changed the requirements for development of condominiums in the state of Washington. Until recently, the state of Washington was the worst state in the country for condominium development. This takes another pathway for homeownership out of the mix. Just recently, the legislature has removed some of the barriers, but not to the level existed before 2011. Land use issues were then compounded by the adoption of the 2021 Building and Energy Code that added another $35,000 to $50,000 to the cost of a new 2,500 square foot home. This code pushed tens of thousands of families out of reach for purchasing a new home here in Spokane County, leading to home exodus to Kootenai County. The final obstacle created is the rise in interest rates. We have seen rates go from mid-2s to over 7%, again taking thousands of potential home purchasers out of reach of new home. The Democratic state legislature has created an environment where affordable housing is not available in any county in the state of Washington. But instead of changing the policies that stand in the way, Their solution is create a new tax. Never met a problem that a new tax wouldn't solve. The 1590 tax basically takes money away from all and gives it to a few. It is a redistribution of wealth and a form of socialism. Many of those that will pay this tax are folks trying to save funds to buy a home, and this tax makes it harder for those in the middle. This is a transfer tax in that it takes money from earners and gives it to non-earners. When I was starting my professional life, and my wife and I dreamed about buying our first home, we never had to ask ourselves, what kind of house will the state let us own? Couples today can only live where the state allows them to live, using the fuels that the state allows them to use, and paying taxes for fewer services. I look forward to the day that the state becomes serious about providing a pathway to affordable housing. Until then, I'm not going to support new taxes to fix their bad policies. Thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity to share.
Okay. Is there any other comments? And I will look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move to approve item 3A through F on today's agenda.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion second for items 3A through F on today's agenda. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That takes us to the end of our agenda. I do want to just state that I do appreciate everyone that does come down for open public forums, that everyone does have the right to come and speak to the commissioners for 3 minutes on any topics that they would like. So, thank you. Is there any other matters to come before us?
Nothing further from me, Commissioner.
No executive session items. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, no closed items.
No closed items, no executive items. Nothing for me.
There we go. We'll sign some paperwork and we will adjourn.